Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Broadgen Fishing. Today I'm going to be doing a co-angler tip video. So I'm going to make mine a little different than some. I know a lot of them, they just hold up a technique and they're like, co-anglers, do this. So I don't want to go down that road. I'm going to take a little different spin at it and basically name 3 things that my boater's doing and what I would do in that situation and how my thought process works. Okay. So the first one is the spinnerbait. So say your angler or boater is on a spinnerbait bite. Okay, so by spinnerbait bite, I mean, I'm not talking, slow rolling Colorado in the winter kind of spinnerbait bite, but it's a late springtime spinnerbait bite where the trolling motor is going to be pumped up on high, and he's going to be covering lots of water and moving at a pretty steady pace. So, of course, you always got to keep that in mind, because you got to keep up with that pace. So the first thing I would do, and the simplest thing, is just to downsize. So I don't even know what this little spinnerbait is or the name of it or what brand it was. I've had it for years, but I love this thing. I've caught tons of bass on this little spinnerbait. It kicks butt. It's one of my favorite ones. And another thing, and this is going to look a little technical, but don't let it scare you away, okay? Because it's really not that technical as it looks anyways, is the double fluke rig, okay? Let me get it put back together here so you guys can see how it looks all put up together. Okay, so if I can get all that in the camera shot here, try to. 2 flukes, and basically they're just put together with 2 barrel swivels. So this one little barrel swivel, it's just going to slide up and down your main line like that, okay? One little tip I will tell y'all though that I've come to learn is that have the longest leader with the fluke tied to the barrel swivel that your main line is tied to, which is this one right here. It just seems to work better. It has better presentation and seems to work a lot better than having the short one and the reverse way around. With that said though, this thing is an awesome thing to use. A lot of people think flukes and they think soft jerk baits because that's what they're called. But when we say that though, it makes people get into the mindset that's the twitch pause kind of thing, just like a jerk bait is. It doesn't have to be that. You can fish a fluke fast and get some really awesome reaction strikes out of bass, just like you do with a big spinnerbait. And the big spinnerbait, all it's doing is imitating a bait fish, just a school of bait fish. So you got the same thing right here. You got 2 in a row. They're following each other. It looks really awesome in the water if you've never seen it. Basically, when you jerk, they usually go opposite directions like this. And they just keep going back and forth, just following each other, And just like with a Carolina rig too, how it looks like your bait is following or trying to eat the bead and the weight, it kind of looks like these guys are following this little black, barrel swivels. So it's a really cool presentation and something to try, and it's definitely different, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking to stand out, to get that bass's reaction of something different than that spinnerbait that just flew past him. So this is always a good go-to thing for to back up a spinnerbait. All right, so let's see next here what we got. Let's do crankbaits. So your boater's on a crankbait bite, okay? And again, just like with a spinnerbait, there's different crankbait bites, But when I'm talking about crankbait bite here, I mean off the bank, 6 to 10 feet. If he's fishing it correctly, it should be grind. He should be trying to grind that thing into everything on the bottom, every boulder, rock, stump, you name it. I'm not talking about trying to catch suspended bass off a point in the timbers or something. I'm talking about just a normal crankbait bite. The cool thing here though on a crankbait bite, it's definitely going to change a lot of things, right? It's going to slow everything down because this is nowhere near as fast as say spinnerbait. So it gives you a lot more options. Since this is going a lot slower, your options open up drastically when you slow down. But again, the first and most simplest thing I would do is downsize. There's something about downsizing. Now, I know a lot of people go with the philosophy that a bass likes a big meal with the least amount of effort, which I can see that, and I think that is true sometimes. But I also think they enjoy little snacks. They're just like us. They like to snack a little. And these little guys, too, I think what it is that this one's bigger, so, he could eat this easily, of course, but I think sometimes when they hit these big fish, they may hurt them, but they still lose them. The shad still swims away. And so he could waste that effort, when he knows if he hits this little guy, he's going to swallow it whole. No big deal. He's easily going to kill this thing. It's not even going to be hanging out of his mouth. He's just going to swallow it. And it's the same thing with the downsized spinnerbait. They can whack it a lot easier. So that would be the first thing with the crankbait, though, just downsize. And that's probably what I do with a lot of things. That's the first thing that comes to my head is downsize whatever he's doing, and that's going to make a difference. And then you can change color and stuff. Like if you see, this is a shad pattern one, but this is a bleeding shad pattern one. So it's got a little more blood, got the red hooks. It makes you stand out a little bit differently, which I think does matter. Another thing, too, is a football jig. So, because if you think about it, this thing's doing the same thing this is doing, okay? You get a football jig down there and you wind it in slowly. It's just going back and forth, letting that football head do its thing, whacking it into rocks and everything else. And, you're doing the same thing with this. So, this is another good option, and it's almost the same pace as a crankbait fishing. So, it's not like you're going to get caught behind and get your line pulled because he's going too fast. You can definitely pull this off. And also, guys, this is just, a couple things. I mean, there's so many more options here. I'm just naming a few. So don't think that this is the end-all, be-all of everything, because it's not. I mean, that's what makes fishing awesome is there's always there's just so much stuff to learn. You never stop learning when it comes to fishing. There's always something else. Let's see, what else was I going to touch on today? Oh, I was going to touch on bed fishing, because right now, this time of year, more than likely, you got a high probability of getting some boaters that are going to be on bed fish. Okay, so that can be really frustrating to the co-angler because, the boater's up there, he's focused on that bed fish, but it really don't have to be. You can still get some really good fishing in as a co-angler, even though he's on a bed fish. And so my go-to thing when that happens is I pull out my spinning pole and I put a wacky rig, just a good old wacky rig, man. And I like these little finesse worms. I like to wacky rig them. I feel like I get more action out of them than a Cinco. But, if you love Cincos, go with Cinco. It's no big deal. So basically, I just turn around. I tie this on my spinning reel. And while he's focusing on that bedding fish, I turn around and I just fan cast all behind us because we're all in the shallows already, obviously, because we're on beds. And the odds are there's another bed out there, that you're not seeing. I mean, bass will spawn 5-6 feet deep sometimes. It doesn't have to be right up on top of the 1 or 2 feet deep where you can see them. I mean, they can be out there anywhere. So this is a great way to cover water and to get them over those beds that you can't see. So just start fan casting. And basically, I just do a knock presentation, knock, and that's what I call it, the knock. But it works really well. Okay. Another thing you can do too, if you're in that kind of situation where your boater's on bedding fish and things are tough, is a Carolina rig lizard is always awesome too. And again, you're going to have plenty of time sometimes. Now, I mean, sometimes you roll up on a bedding fish. I mean, he may get it the first cast. You never know. And then sometimes it may take 2 hours. So, but you will probably have a lot of time to fish. Some places he may nail it right then, and you're going to have to give it up, just sit back down. He's going to take off, go to his next bedding bass that he has marked, And then on that one may take 2 hours. So then you got time to fish. So you will have the time, but I won't say every time because sometimes it does happen fast, But those are just some basics that I wanted to go over and touch on, and I hope it helps, guys, And until next time, good luck out there, co-anglers, and I'll catch you later.